idea. So I'm not into owning things. That's one reason I did the most paperwork possible on the house with phone. I wanted I just wanted a piece of paper to be able to point to when her kids at some point in the future are being arrogant or entitled or whatever. I can go, this is my house. You can. I'm going to attempt to get to this content today. I've been wanting to shoot this video, share of this concept for like 2 years, and something always seems to come up. I don't know what the heck. I do whatever has the greatest share of mind in my thinking, which is the phrase my two main business mentors taught me. Extremely useful phrase. If you have an irreverent sense of humor, which obviously I do, this place is fantastic. And another thing that's fantastic too is if you can equitably attract and get into a good relationship with a higher class Thai woman, which I would say Fawn absolutely is. She's from a well-established, well-respected. I can tell in the village how people interact with her parents, and both her parents are extremely well-respected. Body language is the key thing to watch here. Foreigners tend to listen for keywords and listening for insults. Waste of time, man. You will never catch it. If they want to insult you, they can insult you. But anyway, so back to my point about not retiring your Thai girlfriend or wife or whatever. It's kind of nice because it gives you a baseline, something to do. You're not just trying to fill a void of time all the time. And then it would really help if, with this being possibly like a higher class lady, then they keep their job. They're contributing to your budget every month. Like Fawn makes good money. Like it's not insubstantial. I'd hate to give up that money. I mean, I technically could, but it would, probably wouldn't be buying million-baht motorcycles, which, hey, what would be the point of life? But all these little background anecdotes about life here, the irreverence of it, the entertainment value of it. You're pairing up with a nice lady, maybe a higher class lady versus, you've got. To me, my opinion, and I'm allowed to have an opinion, this is my channel, you're the bottom class of ladies you can be engaging with are the sex workers. Because they'll take money from almost literally anybody and give almost the same companionship. So you're not really evidencing any real self-value there in that relationship in my professional opinion. And then you get like your clerical workers, which are great. They're a lot of really, really great option for us foreign guys is find a clerical worker, a lady working at the local 7-Eleven or hair salon or whatever. Very easy to engage with. Hey, can you help me understand this word? Oh, hey, would you like a coffee? I'm getting a coffee, and before you know it, you've got a line ID and you're texting and you're flirting. Versus a professional scammer online, which is 90% of the women you'll meet online are actually professional scammers. I mean, amateur or professional to some shade of gray. But clerical workers are nice, but their salaries are very low. So almost, not totally, but almost nonsensical to have her retain her employment because it does take up a lot of her time and make her tired and such. And then there's maybe allow you some freedom. If you're a travel guy, then hey, go retire a clerk somewhere and you're welcome. That's a great one. What I do with Fawn though is I engage and I mix hands. We mix our lives together. Mostly me mixing into hers because we're living in her country. So all that to preface lifestyle, and those are all lifestyle things. And so, can I live like a 15-year younger guy? Can I take 15 years of my life back and do the complete do-over? Like we talk about it, and culturally, even in the United States, men are allowed a do-over. You can get a divorce. You can have a midlife crisis if people want to hate on you and call it that, or you can choose to do whatever you want or whatever. And it's just generally, even with all the cultural changes and the total shift away from traditional gender roles and stuff, which I'm a traditional role guy, obviously. But even with all that, it's just the U.S. culture. It's still, even now, which is I find kind of funny, much easier for a man to then just go ahead and just restart his life over than for a woman. And here, boy, is that is mega true. That is just mega true. And so let's put me to the test here. Did I So thereby, logically, then could possibly you, although you might be more capable of things than I am not. That's entirely possible. But did I actually live 15 years younger? So my point about all the stuff about the work before is that with her working, she has work friends. Thais become very close with the people around them. That's why affairs tend to start between people that are proximate already. It's a real close culture, and everything is like their lives take place right in front of them, where we tend to get more distracted on things thousands of miles away, in my opinion. Anyway, so she has, I'm going to say, a half a dozen fairly close friends from work, and then she has a couple of relatives that she's close to. And then within the village, there's some people she's friendlier with, although I don't notice anybody like mega close, that makes like what I would call the inner circle. But with all those people, um, those, her friends particularly, they're all young. Most of them call me Loon, which is uncle, because I'm really too old to be called P. P is senior person or older person, 1 year older than you or more, or 2 days older than you or more is P. But they call me Loon because I'm old. But even her friends who are only 5 years younger than me call me Loon also. I think they kind of like the self-flattering aspect of, hey, everybody wants to feel young, right? I suppose it's not just any one guy might be thinking that. And I'll tell you, and then Fawn's 22 years younger than me, which is on the red flag young side. I mean, it's an issue. You would want to sort why someone 22 years younger than you and is a fairly attractive person. Why would they want an older guy? And then for my relationship with Fawn, I feel I've sorted that out and I've answered that in a number of other videos. But just to say, she is entirely and wholly and completely unable or ineligible to date an eligible or attractive Thai man. She'd have to drop her standards to the freaking basement to date here in her own culture. It just it's a real rough game. I mean, I've taken her to like a beauty clinic a couple times, and you'll see women that are just drop dead, knockout, gorgeous. You could put them right on a magazine cover or in a movie. I mean, or a commercial for something. Incredibly pretty, and they're going in to get more treatment to get prettier. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's a real rough game here, which kind of works in our favor. I'm sort of sorry to say, a little sheepish to say that, but it's just true. The fact that the Thai women get so easily shut out of their own culture is what makes this big opportunity for us. Now, most of us throw that away and just marry a sex worker, which is everyone's choice. And you can definitely live a younger life with that too. I mean, because you can date a smoking hot 27-year-old or 25-year-old or whatever you're into. And but I'll tell you, it's a bit of a pain in the neck. I went to a dinner one time, a big club. The nice place, a lot of fun, had a great time. It was me, one other guy, Thai man that I know fairly well. I'll call him a friend, and about 6 Thai women, and we looked like a couple of studs. We were joking about it, Hey, we're just here with the harem, taking them out, And I was the oldest person, as I'm almost always the oldest person because I'm 61. Mandatory retirement for the Thais here is 60, so anyone still working is by definition younger than me. Even the big senior director here, I call him Nong. I also call him by his formal title and give him a Y. Just to make that clear. But we went to this club, and I got a good look at it. Like, it was interesting because some of Fawn's friends were a little younger than her, or they were not yet married and they were just living a younger lifestyle. And those were the ones that wanted to dance, wanted the louder music, and were really into it. And I think they did drink a tiny bit. I think some of the women were drinking a little bit. They were really this was a night they were really letting their hair down. They haven't done this much. This is something they do like once or twice a year that's because I know all these people pretty well. They don't do this regularly. And I made the mental note at the time that, wow, anybody even at 1 year younger than Fawn is, it's just, wow, look at, they want to go and do things that I'm just not interested in doing. I like being in at night. I like reading. I do all my workouts and stuff late morning. I do all my lunching and dining and my big errands and all my running around, and my activity is all kind of late morning through early afternoon, mid late afternoon. It's my nap time, and then early evening. It's a walk through the rice fields. It's just get a little fresh air, move around, maybe putter around the house or something, that kind of stuff. Reading again, all that. And a young woman's going to want to go out and party and have a great time. And you're gonna have this natural unalignment of interests if you try and take it too far. I think. And then, but generally, I'm going to say it's kind of work though. Like I definitely go into an older lifestyle when I go back home, which I go back home in like 4 days, which is creeping me out. This is the single most stressful thing I do every year, by the way. I don't like traveling. I don't like it's a one full day in a frickin' plane, and with the layovers and whatever connections you can get in this particular time, I don't know what was going on, but I had a heck of a time getting connections. And I'm not very good at arranging travel, I'll be honest about that. But still, I got about a day, almost a day and a half. Full travel, getting back home. It's a nightmare. And there was reasons why I couldn't take an easier connection. It just whatever. So, but it is kind of stressful. I don't like it. But when I go back though, when I'm back, I'm absolutely, because now I'm just a plain old retired guy. I'm gonna have, and I'll do a video on this. But I do my 1 month. Can I cancel it? But I just do my 1 month Planet Fitness membership. There's a giant Planet Fitness by my apartment that I share with my son. It's a very nice, affordable little apartment. It works out fantastic for me. I have zero interest in ever not being a U.S. citizen. I like my U.S. citizenship. I'm proud of being an American, and I'm always going to be an American. And I'm just taking a time out here, and in the future I'll be spending more time back home. Now, that is home. That'll always be home. This is my adventure and doing my stuff and having my fun. Riding my big custom Harley Davidson to the gym and back all through the winter when it's 85 degrees out. I mean, I friggin' love it. Okay, but I am going to go back home at some point and spend more time with my kids. And a couple key friends. Literally a couple. Let me tell you. But anyway, so there is just more of a senior guy thing. I've got the small apartment. I don't have a whole lot to do all day. I'm bringing back a ton of Thai homework with me. I'm going to brush up on my vocabulary and Thai speak and speech patterns. It isn't really sentence structure. I wouldn't give it credit in calling it sentence structure. You can if you want. That's fine by me. But to me, they're just speech patterns. There's not consistent rules across them. So I know about a dozen speech patterns maybe. The big broadly applicable ones you got to know. You're not going to be able to speak their language. There's probably, I'm going to guess, say there's 50 or 100 of them maybe. I don't know how many there are, but there's a lot more than what I know. I know that. So I'm going to work on that. I've got about 6 more speech patterns I want to study. They're hard. They're a bitch to learn. They're not easy. Some of them make no logical sense to my mind, and I've got a fairly inventive mind because I'm a retired inventor, and I'm used to thinking kind of sideways on things, and I can't wrap my head around this at all. But back home, so I got that, and I'll spend a ton of time with my boy, and I got a week-long trip with both of my children planned, which will be fantastic, and I'll definitely shoot some snapshots, not showing my kids probably, but I'll show you what I did a little bit because it's going to be a great time. It's something you might want to do for yourself, honestly. But it's a quieter, more sedentary life. I'm going to take a little. There's the apartment we have is in like this beautiful park, and I can walk through this park, and there's a nature trail or two there. I walk those and stuff, and it's nice. But it's a lot less than here. Here, by engaging with Fawn, her young self, her young friends, there's this background of stuff to do all the time. And then by me living roughly 25, 30 minutes outside the city of Korat, which they say Kolat here, I have that hour ride on my beautiful motorcycle once total per day, 4 to 5 days per week as I do that. That's a little bit of time, and I found a new I'll have to try and take some snapshots sometime. I found a scenic drive alternative to the. There's one part of the highway that's really quite dangerous on Mitropop. It's the by far most dangerous section of Mitropop that I'm exposed to. And even if you drive an hour or two north or south of there, nothing is as dangerous as this one spot where multiple highways merge, and I can avoid that now. It was great practice and great getting your head on a swivel and all that, but it's honking dangerous. I'd rather not. So the scenic slow speed road that maybe takes 5 or 10 minutes longer, like I give a rip. I'm retired. I have all day to get to the gym and back. It doesn't matter to me. So, and it's kind of cute. I love being on my motorcycle, and I can smell the food stands and the barbecue chicken, which the food here is really good, as you've probably heard. And just see the people, how they live, and you can see someone building a wall. And every time I ride by, the wall's a little more built, and you can see where they've struggled, where there's a low spot or a high spot in the ground. How did they solve that? I just find all that kind of stuff interesting. Watching other people and how they make their lives and make their way, I find interesting. Like when I could just go to a McDonald's and just have a McDonald's meal with a friend or my boy or something, like everybody else does, I took that as a victory. Look, I can do this too. I just, growing up with massive dyslexia and ADD and stuff, whatever, not a pity party, but it was hard for me. I did notice that even as a kid, before those things were like diagnosable, I could see that other people, it seemed really easy to them. And I always was like, why is it so hard for me? Why is it like they all went and just did that like it was nothing? And it was like, so I've always just kind of had that kind of perspective of kind of, I see myself as like the underdog. And so watching other people kind of make their way, I find interesting. And I definitely, one thing I didn't get was the jealous or the envy gene, because when someone's doing something or has something that I don't have, I always like, oh, good for you, man. That's cool. I mean, I these days there's very little that I want, because most things are a pain in the neck. When you're 61, most things become a pain in the neck. I'll tell you. I started selling all my possessions 8, 9, 10 years ago, and to the point where some of my friends were like, Rob, what's going on, man? You got cancer or something? I mean, they're like, what something wrong? We need to know something? And I'm like, no, it's just not making me happy. I just logically went through and, I've kind of told that story a little bit already, but you get the idea. So I'm not into owning things. That's one reason I did the most bullshit paperwork possible on the house with phone. I just wanted a piece of paper to be able to point to when her kids at some point in the future are being arrogant or entitled or whatever. I can go, this is my house. You can, just versus me manhandling them, which it's going to be a long time until they're physically probably stronger than me, even in my current condition, because I used to be really, really strong. I was just below elite competition for weightlifting. So even though I'm a shadow of my former self, I've never lost an arm wrestling match in my life. It's just, I'm not trying to brag. It's just a fact. I want to tell you, I'm a kind of an average looking. I always tell people I'm just stronger than I look. So, anyways, but I just wanted that because I'm not into owning things. They don't, the motorcycle is an experience. Having the newest iPhone, I use that thing hours a day. It's an experience. I couldn't care about the status of it. Couldn't give a rip. So attempting to stay back on track. I think I kind of do. I mean, I'm answering the question here, right? I mean, I feel like I do live 15 years younger here. I did clean up my appearance. Did I make myself look younger? Yeah, I guess. Mostly I was interested in, my self-interest was in not looking haggard, not looking beat down, not looking like I was sick or coming down with something, or that I was distressed or something. Because I looked bad. I just looked like there was something wrong, which there was. There was a lot wrong in my life, and that's why I made all these drastic changes and why it's working so well now. But I didn't like wearing that on my face everywhere I went. If I get more wrinkles and stuff, I couldn't care. At this point, I couldn't care. But I guess I took control of it. And all those skin treatments they have here, they're cheap, and it's amazing how they work. That's amazing. And if anyone wants to say that that's less manly or something, I'll tell you what. The first thing you do when you go and train any kind of grappling martial art, jiu-jitsu or judo, or even like American wrestling or something, what the first thing you end up doing the first day you study? This is a great test. So people claim they've studied it. You ask them this, only someone that's done it knows the answer. You apologize to the other person, your teacher, your wrestling partner for the day, for getting your blood on their white uniform, because your skin has micro tears, because your skin is soft, because you don't use it. When you're wrestling, you're rubbing and moving your arms and things against each other, and the skin's not used to that, and it's weak, and it has micro tears, and little drops of blood will like pop out of your skin. And then the guy that's wrestling, they'll make a joke about it in the beginning, like, oh shit, you're going to ruin my uniform, And then after, a couple months, your skin toughens up, and the skin treatments here do the same thing. It just works your skin, forces it to work, and it toughens back up, and then all the wrinkles get absorbed back into your skin, so to say. And I don't know. So I guess I don't know if I don't look 15 years younger, but I probably look 7 or 8 years younger. I'm 4 years older and probably look 7 years younger. So whatever that is, right? And I definitely live that more active life. And it's so easy with the weather, and the money is so much cheaper here. I mean, you get an average of 35 of their dollars for every one of yours. And some stuff is bought dollar to dollar. You're 35 times richer. Some stuff actually costs more here. On average, you're 5x. If you're coming from the Midwestern United States like I did, you're 5 times richer if you go into the Isan region like I did. The Isan region being one of I don't know, couldn't tell you, but most affordable areas to live in Thailand. Definitely living here. My friends that have shared long-term detailed information on their cost in the Philippines, their cost in Vietnam, weren't saving. They told me themselves they weren't saving any money over living here. Cambodia, maybe. Laos, maybe. Probably. And if you need to chase the absolute cheapest place on the planet, I get that, and I'm sorry for you. But you can make a success of it anyways. And I know plenty of guys in Laos and Cambodia that are super happy. So, but living in the Isan region of Thailand really works, and it works the same culturally. The women are very kind, very loving. They're famous for their care, and they have fewer other economic opportunities. So they become just extremely appreciative of a guy that is the provider. Again, the traditional gender role is alive and well in Thailand. And look at some of Chris Rock's comedy. He nails all this stuff. Nobody ever said, "Gee, my wife and I got so much closer after I lost my job." It it is what it is. Women always look to us to be providing something. Yeah. I've almost never heard of a relationship that doesn't. Only just the one. I knew a guy that was a trophy husband back in the late '80s, I think, late '80s, and his wife was a nurse, a registered nurse, and she owned this nursing temp agency thing, and she supplied registered nurses to like all the hospitals in the area at the time or something, and she had like hundreds of these ladies, and she's billing them out, and she was making millions a year, and she had a husband that was just very handsome and very easygoing, and they were happy. That's the one guy I've only ever seen out of everybody that I knew. So I think this is what it is. But no, you can live a younger guy's life here, but you got to put the work in. If you want to really do that, you're going to need at least, in my opinion, you're going to need to at least speak basic Thai. You are going to absolutely have to clean up your appearance and adopt some of the Thai customs of wearing long pants, bathing 2, 3, 4 times a day, and using the baby powder and all that stuff. Thai haircut, shaving, no facial hair, unless you're rocking it or your woman's into the Isan deep cultural Ad Kalabao look. You can look that up. That guy's a superstar legend here. There's some guys pull that off, and I've even seen Western guys pull that off. I'm not saying you can't have facial hair, but you dang well better have a plan. I mean, if you want a young, attractive woman and you want her to be interested in you, you can't go show up looking like her grandfather. You're going to have to put in a little bit of work, and then you're going to have to learn a little bit about the culture, when and when not to why, how to why somebody. If you're going to want to really dig into that and really live in that culture, then I think there's going to be a little bit of extra work involved. Not so much on the money side. I mean, again, financial support, but financial support here does not have to mean a lot of money. If you're dating equitably, does not have to mean a lot of money. Absolutely not. If your relationship's anything about money all the time, you're with the wrong lady, especially out here. Isan people are frugal. They're wise with their money. They have a saying here, "Sia dai ngun," wasting money. They don't like that at all. That's a thing here to not do. So any kind of it kind of makes it easier to date in a way and evaluate, because anyone's all about money ain't really real, are they? So anyway, that's the thought of it. I'm sure I'll have to break in and clean this up a little bit. It's a little erratic. Sorry about that. But maybe that's why I never did this one. Maybe it's just a little bit too weird to conquer. But I think I did it. I did it to a level I'm happy at. I'm not interested in trying to chase, being more younger. No interest. Fawn likes a pretty quiet life, as the traditional Isan people do. And they are also compatible with us older guys for all the reasons I mentioned earlier. So it can be a great fit. In hindsight, it's worked out good for me. It's been the right call for me. I'm happy. Take care. Odd fact about Thailand, number 2,712. They do have low doorways here. That's true. I am 5'9", statistically of average height, and I didn't actually. Before the back surgery, I would not bump my head on this. It came really close, but it was not possible for me to bump my head on here, so I learned I could ignore this. Now I have to learn the new skill of being careful because it's very easy to bump my head. I'm well, about an inch taller, actually, which still freaking hurts, but it's getting better. Anyways, it's so weird here. So we had a drunk guy wander up to our door last night, scared Fawn. I wanted to just go out and tell him to go away, but she was right. Don't go out there because the problem can be it escalates. You know, you never know. And I don't need this crap in my retirement. So she was right. Anyway, so we have CCTV. She downloaded the video. And Fawn's mom's going to meet. She knew who the guy was. We're in the village. Like, you cannot really commit a crime here very easily. And Bangkon Mayorat Wang. And anyway, so they're having a little cooey with Fawn's mom, Kun Mea, and the village leader, the Puyai, and this individual whom I don't know. He knew me enough to call me by my respectful, you know, Thai cultural name. So he wasn't being aggressive or anything, but whatever. So problem solved. At a Thai tile shop, actually not far from where I live here. Kind of brings back memories. Wish you were here with me. That went extremely well, but I'm not exactly sure what happened. Somehow he was smart enough and clever enough to make his own docking hardware from freaking scratch and weld that into a beautiful hand-bent sissy bar with a luggage rack exactly like I described with his own design, which is fine. And then based on that, I'm looking and I'm like counting all the spacers on the docking hardware on both sides. I'm like, we can remove one entire row on both sides and move both bags in like 3/4 of an inch each side, right? And he's like, oh yeah, all we gotta do is drill one more hole. And I'm like, drill away. So I don't know why this took this long to get to this point, but if he does that, this thing's gonna look exactly stock. It's gonna be incredible. At the Harley-Davidson dealership, and they got me again. I wasn't planning on buying, well, this is my candy shop, so in retirement, you gotta have your fun. And then it'd be helpful to me if they'd stop making new things that were absolutely gorgeous. That would help. But I got a simple orange t-shirt that, of course, and this denim blue kind of heavy long sleeve, which will be perfect because I'm going home in 5 days. And I'll just leave that at home. I don't need that here. You know what, I'm just having my fun, I got, let's tell you. Fun is less enthused. Just standing out in a lightning storm with my umbrella, nothing to see here. First rainstorm since the concrete was poured. I'm honestly surprised the concrete drained. So obviously I inquired and was assured it would. And it actually does. So, I mean, mostly there's going to be some permanent puddles here and there, but you know, whatever, it's fine enough for me. Kun Pa's inside mopping up, no doors. Thought it might be appropriate to add in a couple of nice photos of Fawn, just to kind of show my aspect of my younger life as we're talking about. She's very cute. We have a playful and fun relationship. Try to keep it lighthearted while we're both achieving our goals. Her goals all are around her family. And, you know, I get all my personal stuff, which she helps me with immensely. Here's my bar. This is just the simple everyday life that we enjoy that gives me a nice, relaxing background of activity, and then really helps me keep my focus and me moving forward and all that. And to me, she's a very pretty young woman. It's almost ready to go into paint, by the way. So this will probably be the last video. I should have said this. I'm recording here in Thailand before I go home for a month. I'll try to make a video or two while I'm home, but while I'm home, I tend to make less content. We'll see how it goes, you know. And I'll for sure make at least one video, though. And fuck. If the words have even the exact same word, depending on if the person's with you or not, or how it's used. And also in Thai language, the order of the words is critical to the meaning. Oh, and another weird thing, the 7-Eleven this morning, Fawn got a free Chakio, green tea, and we bumped into the guy, the stainless guy, the young fellow. He's a brilliant artist. He's super talented with shaping and welding stainless steel and making beautiful things. He did all the stainless in my gate, but I was unable to force my cash into his hands on a handful of occasions. He just didn't want to work. And then today he says what's he doing? And he goes, he's a Baihangan, looking for work. It's like, I got nothing, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't comment. I didn't smirk. I just, okay, well, good luck. Chokdi. Strange. Thank you for watching my YouTube video. If you've watched this far, please consider hitting like and subscribe.